Hello and welcome back to Stay Up and Game, where we like to end every day off right with a box on the table. My name is Josh, and today we're doing something a little bit different. If you've been to my channel before, you know I usually like to wake up early in the morning and play a game. But my Sinister Motives box finally arrived today, so instead I have waited all day. I just got home from work. It's 12:00 something or other. Saturday going into Sunday, the day after Sinister Motives came out in the US. I'm about a day and a half behind everybody else, but that's just how we do things here in Tiny Town, USA. So I didn't want to wait any longer, even though I've been up since early this morning, worked all day, got home. I'm so tired right now, but I cannot wait any longer to open up this box. It's been a couple months since we got some cards. You know, there's already been so many unboxing videos to come out on YouTube. Mine will probably be the last one, but that's okay. I just want to open these cards, and I want to share my experience and joy of doing so with you. And speaking of that, real quick, I just want to say, and I've been meaning to say this for a couple of videos, I crossed the 50 subscriber threshold recently, and I know that's not some like crazy big number, but it's really big to me. It's very exciting to me, and I'm so grateful for every single person who has clicked that little subscribe button that said, I want to see what this noob is going to do next. And if you're watching this and you're not subscribed and you like Marvel Champions and you like the Lord of the Rings, the card game, if you'd like to join me on this journey as I'm learning how to make YouTube videos, I'm trying to get better at it every day. And I'm uploading a lot of fun games, a lot of fun content. I've got a lot of big plans for what's coming next. So, you know, click that subscribe button and join me. And with that, I don't want to wait any longer. Let's just tear this box open. I want to see, I haven't seen too many of the cards. You know, I read the official announcement article when it came out, you know, whenever that was. Feels like forever ago now. Okay, clearly I'm bad at unboxing. Here we go. And I've seen, you know, the official spoilers that came through, like Critical Encounters and Marvel Champions Monthly got a couple extra spoilers, but I haven't looked at any of the cards since the box actually came out. Everybody's been talking about them in the Discords and the forums, and I've just been trying to avoid as much as I could. Also trying not to be too loud. I don't want to wake up my family. So here we go. Let's open this up. All right. So we've got our rule book here with our little campaign story. I don't know anything about the campaign, so I'm very, very excited to play that. You know, I saw what was said about the villains in the announcement articles, but I don't really know much beyond that. All right, we've got a little ad for, oh, apparently they're making novels. That's cool. I'm sure somebody's excited about that. My cardboard. All right, here we go. Now I'm just gonna look at the player cards. I want to play the villains blind, so we're not gonna look at that stuff. We're just gonna look at Miles and Gwen, and I'm not sure yet what's in what pack, but we're just gonna start out with these two. We'll open up Miles first. You know, everybody, there's a lot of speculation. Who are you most excited about out of the two? And it seemed to me that most people were more excited about Gwen than Miles. He seems very straightforward. He got a lot of stun and confuse, and just looks to be very strong in that way. And Gwen is more of a, man, these things are, you try so hard not to damage the cards, and my knife isn't very sharp, so I don't want to use it more than I have to. Okay, there we go. But as I was saying, you know, Gwen is more of maybe like a Ms. Marvel type with a lot of combo potential. And, you know, that's very exciting. So I don't know which one I was more excited about. I'm just super excited about both of them. So let's see what we've got here. Even though I saw some of these, I'm just going to look at them all real quick here. Miles Morales for recovery. He is a civilian. His responses after you change to this form: shuffle one Spider-Man card from your discard pile into your deck. So somewhat similar to War Machine, he gets a card back when he flips. Hand size of 6, hit points of 9, and his abilities got 2/2/2 stat line. He's a champion and web warrior, and he has Venom Blast as a special, deal 2 damage to an enemy, stun that enemy, or Spider Camouflage as a special, give Spider-Man a tough status card and confuse an enemy. So you'll notice that these are not exhaust or action abilities. They're special. They're triggered by other cards, from what I understand. So I'm just going to kind of lay these out as we go. We have 2 copies of Arachnobatics, Hero Action Attack. It's a 1-cost event. Deal 2 damage to an enemy. If the enemy has a stun status card, deal 3 additional damage to it. And if that enemy has a confused status card, deal 3 additional damage to it. So for 1, it's doing 2 no matter what, and then if it's stunned, it's 3 more for a total of 5, and then if it's confused, it's 3 more for a total of 8. So kind of like swinging web kick, except for it only costs 1. Obviously, it requires some setup, but the fact that he has stun and confuse on his card tells me that we're probably going to be able to trigger those pretty easily, so that's exciting. We have 2 copies of Double Life. I don't know if we ever saw this card before. 1 cost event. You can only play once per round. As an action, you can change your form. Oh, it's not a hero action, so you could play this in alter ego to go to hero or vice versa. And if you paid for this card using a fist resource, strength, punch, I never know what to call these. I'm going to call it a fist resource. Ready or identity. So for 1, you get to change form and ready. Well, that's pretty neat. It's interesting because he doesn't seem like he's like a flippy hero necessarily. So if we're going to have 2 copies of a card that lets him flip, but it also readies him, which is cool. Very, very nice. So we have 2 copies of Swing In event, 2 cost, hero action thwart. Oh, here's this thwarting card. Remove 4 threat from a scheme. Well, 4 for 2 is pretty good. If you paid for this card using a mental, here we go. Resolve Spider-Man's spider camouflage ability. So if you pay 2, you get to remove 4 threat and confuse as long as you used a mental. Very nice. And does that also, yeah, it gives him tough and confuses an enemy. Oh my goodness, yeah. Now I'm remembering now. Honestly, I hadn't gone back and looked at the article. I just remembered he seemed strong, and yeah, cards like that, it's just, you get so much value out of that. It's amazing. We get 3 copies of Web Shot. 2 cost event. Pretty much everything's been an event so far, so that's fun. I like event-based heroes like Wasp and Gamora. Web Shot 2 event. Deal 4 damage to an enemy. If you pay for this card using a lightning, resolve Spider-Man's Venom Blast. So you're going to deal 4 damage, plus 2 more damage, plus a stun, all for 2 at the low price of having to have had a lightning resource. So awesome, man. He seems so strong. Here is a support card. Excuse me. Drink a little bit of my non-caffeinated tea. I'm hoping to get this done relatively quickly and just get it uploaded immediately tonight and then go to bed. At church in the morning, I got to work again tomorrow, so I don't want to be up too late, because trust me, if I didn't have stuff to do tomorrow, I would stay up all night playing this stuff. I'm so excited to try these out. So we have Genki Lee. I hope I'm saying that name right. 2 cost support as persona. As action, exhaust him. Draw a card if you're in hero form. Choose and discard a card from your hand. Oh, neat. So it's not, usually cards like this are alter ego only, but here you can use it in hero form, but it's not quite as good. Wow, I really like that. We have Jefferson Davis, another support, 2 cost. Now this one is alter ego, and it is also a shield traded card. Alter ego action, exhaust Jefferson Davis. Remove 1 threat from the scheme with the least threat. My goodness, you can get cards in play that let him draw cards or just let him remove threat. I don't know, he is so strong. We have a 1 cost upgrade, Power Within. I love that picture. It's a superpower. Now, not many of these have been superpowers. Attack, thwart, no. So Def Focus isn't necessarily a consideration, but at least it would work on this card. After your hero uses a basic power, discard Power Within to resolve Venom Blast. Okay, so this is just, you can just have this on the table and trigger Venom Blast kind of whenever you want to. And this looks similar, but for the spider camouflage defense mechanism, 1 cost upgrade. After your hero uses a basic power, discard resolve spider camouflage. Okay, so you've got sort of on demand a way to trigger his special abilities here. Now he gets web shooters. The exact same art, uses 3 up counters, exhaust web shooter. Wow. It even has the reminder text, enters play with 3 counters. Did they just straight copy paste these from Spider-Man? Like the core set Spider-Man, and just maybe change the border? Because that's, the fact that that reminder text is still there makes me think that that's exactly what they did. Well, let's just take a real quick look. So his kit here is 15 cards. He has such easy access to confuse and stun, and he gets the extra, he gets tough, he gets extra damage. He can ready, he can draw cards, he can remove threat with Jefferson. And that is, I don't know what else to say other than incredibly strong. Very excited to play him. Now, something else people have been excited about is the shield cards. I keep hearing a lot about the shield cards. Whole new Justice archetype with shields, so here we go. Let's check these out. Monica Chang, 3-cost ally, 1 thwart, 1 attack. It's got 2 hit points. Response. Now, I know we've seen some of these, but I'm not sure if I've seen this one or not. After Monica Chang enters play, search... Oh, yeah. I have seen this one. Search your deck, hand, and discard pile for a copy of the Surveillance Team support and put it into play. Place 1 Snoop counter on each Surveillance Team you control. So Surveillance Team is a core set card that's, not so great. I don't think it sees much play these days. And then here comes a card, 2 years later that just makes it so much better that you get one for free. And it's going to have an extra counter, so I wouldn't be surprised. Does it come with some of... yeah. So we've got the Surveillance Team here. Comes into play with 3 of these counters, and you just exhaust it to remove a threat. So, it's okay, but now you're getting it for free, which it costs 2. And you get to put an extra counter on it. So that is very, very cool. So we'll go ahead and yank those out. And you get, the benefits of an ally. She can thwart, she can attack, she can take a hit for you. Very exciting. Okay, now we have a Spider Woman, Jessica Drew, 3-cost ally, 1 thwart, 2 attack, 2 consequential on the attack, shield Web Warrior. 3 health. Reduce the cost to play Spider Woman by 1 for each confused enemy in play. Oh, very cool. Because, 3's not... Yeah, okay, I guess 3 is just okay, considering the fact she's only be able to attack once and then take a hit. But if you can get her for even 1 less, which is probably all you can reasonably hope to get her for. Maybe you'll have a confused minion as well, but probably just the villain. Still, for 2, that's pretty solid. Very exciting there. Homeland Intervention, we get 3 copies of this event. It is a shield tactic, costs 0. Action exhausts up to 3 shield cards you control and choose a scheme. Remove 2 threat from that scheme for each card exhausted this way. So you're going to be exhausting potentially allies, like these 2. You might have things like Helicarrier in play and probably other stuff we're about to look at. And it's just a sort of a... For 0 cost, you could remove up to 6 threat. Obviously, you're exhausting cards that you could have also used to do useful things, but still very cool. Very, very good. I don't really have a good judgment of how powerful these cards are, partially just because I haven't played them yet, and partially because I'm completely exhausted. But I'm excited to be reading them and sharing it with you here on the midnight edition of Get Up and Game. Or as a buddy in the Discord gave me the name Stay Up in Game, so I had to use that at the beginning, so I really appreciated that. Thanks, Beast Now. So here we go. Global Logistics 0-cost event, Shield Tactic. Exhaust 1 shield card you control. Look at the top 4 cards of a player deck or the encounter deck. Discard any number of those and put the others on the top. Oh, I love this card. For the cost of exhausting 1 shield card, so probably an ally, but maybe a Surveillance Team, a shield card. Oh, goodness, yeah. Surveillance Team, exhaust that thing. And then you get to manipulate. Anytime you can manipulate the decks in your favor, that is always so helpful. I have a Nebula deck that I play in Leadership that she really focuses heavily on scrying. She uses the card Wide Stance that lets her manipulate the top of the encounter deck, and then I have like Heimdall and Falcon in there. And it is incredibly powerful to be able to control what the encounter deck's going to do, and this lets you help your draw potentially get better too. So really like that card. Here we go, Field Agent. Here's a nice cheap 1-cost shield card that you could be exhausting for these other events. Comes in with 3 backup counters. And as a hero interrupt, when a shield ally would take any amount of consequential damage, exhaust Field Agent and remove 1 backup counter from it to prevent 1 of that damage. So just by having this in play, it's basically 3 extra health on any of your shield allies. For their, just their consequential damage, but still, that's awesome. So Spider Woman could attack and only take 1 damage, or you could get, what does Monica Chang do again? Oh, hers is just to enter play, so maybe not too exciting there, but I'm sure there's other good shield allies that I'm just not thinking of off the top of my head that, are already even in the game that you could use this with. But so it's kind of like sort of like a first aid, but you get 3 health out of it instead of 2 in a way. So here we go with Agent 13. Remember this card, I was very excited about this one. 4-cost ally with 4 health, 2 thwart, 1 attack. Not the best picture of Sharon I've ever seen in my life, but that happens from time to time. As a response, after she attacks or thwarts, you get to choose a shield support and ready that support. So, you're thinking Quinn Carrier, Helicarrier, she basically is going to get you a free resource. Any of these, do we get any of these are supports? The Surveillance Team's a support, so you can potentially use that an extra time. And again, probably many more that I'm just not thinking of. But this is an incredibly interesting card to me because it's rare that you see cards in these games that will ready things like your supports. I think of like Lord of the Rings. I don't think there's a single card in the entire game that ever readied an attachment, which would be a similar equivalent here because the attachments are so powerful. And so it's risky to put a card like that into the game where, you know, there's probably some crazy combo somewhere. And then along comes Sharon. Now she is very costly and she's unique, so you're only gonna have one in your deck. But you're gonna get at least 4 uses out of her and probably more with the field agent. And you're just gonna keep on readying your helicarriers, your king carrier, sorry, your Gwen carriers. And yeah, she's amazing. I'm very excited. Oh, okay, here's a card I haven't seen. Dum Dum Dugan. Yes. Wahoo! Love this guy. 5 cost ally, 3 thwart with 3 consequential. My goodness, 3 attack with 2, 5 health. What does he do? Shield. When you use one of Dum Dum Dugan's basic powers, exhaust up to 3 shield cards you control. For each card exhausted this way, Dum Dum Dugan gets +1 to that power for this use. So if you've got these shield cards in play that you're not using for anything else, or this could get a better use out of it. Now, he's not going to be able to do this very much because his basic powers deal so much damage to him. And the field agents can only prevent so much. But that is very cool. 5 is hard to play, but maybe you get some extra resources by exhausting Agent 13, though. But now we're talking some really expensive cards that you're messing with here. Okay, so we have an ally version of Ghost Spider. 3 cost, 1 thwart to attack. Web Warrior, play only if you control a Web Warrior card, so it could be your hero or another ally, but from what we've seen of these Web Warrior cards, I think it's safe to assume if you're playing with allies like this, you're doing it with a Web Warrior hero, so it's not really that big of a restriction. Other than you don't get to use these in other decks, which is, you know, unfortunate. I've kind of run into that with the Guardians allies. Like, I would love to run Groot or Gamora in other heroes, and we can't do it, and that'll be the same with these. When Ghost Spider leaves play, search your deck for an identity-specific event and add it to your hand. Oh, that's pretty neat. So she gets an ability when she leaves, and you get to go get one of your best events. Very cool. And here we go. We get Spider-Man. So now we can put Spider-Man in every single deck. The Peter Parker version of Spider-Man cost a 3, 2 thwart, 2 attack with 1 consequential and 3 health. Wow, that's really good for a basic ally. Wow, and now he does have the requirement you have to pay for him with 1 of each resource, which could potentially be really tricky. And you can't even reduce that with like a helicarrier because you have to actually pay those 3 resources. Now, Quinn carrier would be nice, but after Spider-Man attacks or thwarts, I keep saying Quinn carrier, but I just realized that's Avengers only, and all these Web Warrior cards are like Web Warrior only, so I guess that's not going to be very helpful. After Spider-Man attacks or thwarts, choose another Web Warrior character. Ready that character. Wow. So you use Miles, you use him, and then you stand Miles back up. That is, man, these are so good. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. These are so cool. Young Love, 1 cost event. So we have a Gwen and Miles team up. That's nice. That's always fun to get these team up cards. Alter Ego action, heal 3 damage each from Gwen Stacy and Miles Morales for 1. And that, could include the Gwen ally. Though obviously it works better on the hero because you couldn't even heal 3 from the ally. But still, either way, very, very cool. Very exciting. So we get that. We get the 3 energy cards. Okay, and then we get a few more cards here. Government Liaison. 2 cost support, Persona Shield. So it's a basic card. Hero action. Exhaust Government Liaison. Play a shield card from your hand, reducing its resource cost by 1. Whoa. So we get a cost reducer for shield cards, and there's a lot of shield cards in this, and it's not even unique, right? No unique symbol. Doesn't say 1 per player. Wow, that is awesome. It's basic, so you can run Power in All of Us to help play it even for 1 card. They really gave us a cool, I feel like you just take all these shield cards and shove them into any deck, and you're gonna have a good deck. Sky Destroyer, well, this thing sounds awesome. Unique 3 cost support, it's a shield vehicle. Response, after you play a shield card, exhaust Sky Destroyer, just deal 2 damage to an enemy? This is incredible. 3 is not cheap, but you could use the Government Liaisons to bring them in cheaper. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for these shield cards. Now I see why everybody's been jabbering about it for the last few days. It's so awesome. All right, let's see. It's Miles' obligation here. You may flip to alter ego. You can either exhaust or remove from the game, or discard both of his supports. And if neither was discarded, okay. So you're just gonna flip and exhaust. No big deal. I'm not actually gonna look at these too closely. I'll just bump into them when I'm playing them. But it looks like Prowler here gets Stalwart, and if you're an alter ego, it gets a tough status card. Okay. Well, Miles is incredibly exciting. And from what I seem to be hearing, Ghost Spider is even more so. So let's dig into her. Maybe if I hadn't grabbed the dullest knife in the drawer. There we go. Get out of here. Get out of my way. All right, here we go. Gwen Stacy through recovery. I actually really like this picture. I know a lot of people seem to be less real. I like stylistic art like that, like stylized. I think it's cool. Civilian, choose either shuffle. So this is our action. Choose either shuffle Ticket to the Multiverse from your discard pile into your deck, or Ready George Stacy. So let's go find those cards real quick, just so they make more sense with what we're talking about here. There's George. There's Ticket. Okay, so we saw these in the preview, but I'm definitely gonna look at them here. So we can either get Ticket to the Multiverse back or Ready George Stacy. So let's look at these real quick. Ticket to the Multiverse is a 3-cost upgrade, and it has a double wild resource on it, so she has an extra resource card essentially. You can, as an action, remove it from the game, discard your hand, shuffle your discard pile into your deck, draw up to your hand size, and ready each Ghost Spider card you control. Assuming she has a decent number of upgrades and supports, which I'm guessing she will. Miles was incredibly heavily event-based, so my guess is just since they came in the box together that she will be not that. This is just incredible. And when, this is a one-time effect, you're going to remove it from the game, and until you decide you want to play this, it's going to be a double resource for you that you can keep shuffling back into your deck every time you go to alter ego. So awesome, so exciting. But you're either doing that, but maybe that's not in your discard pile yet. So you've got George Stacy here, 1-cost support. Events attached to George Stacy may be played as if they're in your hand. As an action, you can exhaust him. Attach 1 event from your hand face down here. So this is similar to Bruno in the Ms. Marvel deck, but this one seems to be a little bit more convenient because it's not an alter ego action. You can just exhaust him anytime to attach an event from your hand to him. He can hold on to 3, and then you can always just play them from your hand. You don't have to exhaust to get them back or anything like that. And her ability lets you ready him, so you could grab a card, pop him back up, and grab another card. Yeah, okay, it's pretty good. Now her hero form, she has 1 thwart, which is always, as a solo player, as soon as I see that, it's like sort of like red flags, alarms, like, oh no, 1 thwart, can I play her? You always find a way, but it is challenging. She has the exact same stats as Peter Parker Spider-Man, actually. 1 thwart, 2 attack, 3 defense, Web Warrior, Dizzying Reflexes, response. Sorry, I'm having a hard time talking here. After you resolve an interrupt or response ability on an event. Ready Ghost Spider. Oh, maybe she is going to have a ton of events. So that sort of just reads like a rule book. You've got all these terms like interrupt and response. Not very thematic, but after you resolve an interrupt, okay. So every time she basically plays an event, essentially, you're going to ready her, but it is once per phase, which is cool because, she's going to be able to do that. And the defense, use a defense event that's got some kind of response, like, when you would take damage or something, then you get to ready her. So she's going to be up and down, flipping, combo-y, good times. So we have 3 copies here of Ghost Kick, 2-cost event. Hero response attack, so obviously you're going to play that, and that's going to ready her. After Ghost Spider uses a basic power, you have to exhaust her to use it, and then it'll stand her back up. After she uses a basic power, deals 6 damage to an enemy, max 1. Okay, so she could thwart for 1 and then deal 6. She could attack for 2 and deal 6. Pretty good. That's pretty good. And then she can stand up and do it again. Awesome. And I really like the color scheme here, the white with the sort of red and black. I think that looks really, really nice. All right. Parental Guidance is a 0-cost event alter ego action. If George Stacy is in play, attach one event from hand or discard pile face down to him. Oh, that's cool. You can get one out of your discard pile. Or if George Stacy is not in play, search your deck and discard pile for him and add him to your hand. Oh, very nice. And he only costs 1 to play, so you should be able to grab him and put him out pretty easily. So you kind of get 2 shots at getting him in your opening hand with between this and him himself. And I'm guessing you really, really want to get him into play early and make use of that, because him being able to hold on to extra cards for you, you know, just as sort of like pseudo enhances your hand size and just gives you so many options for all the combos you want to do. And does he have to hold on to just Ghost Spider cards, or is it any card? Or is it any event? Yeah, so very flexible. We have 3 copies here of Phantom Flip. It is a hero response event. So after she uses a basic power, remove 5 threat from a scheme. So 2 costs for 5. Now it also does cost you your activation, except it doesn't really, because it's going to ready her after you do it. So yeah, it's pretty strong. All right. We get 2 copies of the event Pirouette and Punch. It is a skill, so nothing's going to help you pay for it. When a card is revealed from the encounter deck, deal damage to the villain equal to 1 more than the number of boost icons on that card, and cancel that card's when revealed effects. My goodness, so you get a preemptive strike and a spider sense, enhanced spider sense, all in 1 card. And it even deals 1 damage no matter what. So it's because it's 1 more than, oh, so nice. This is going to be fun. This is going to be really fun. And it's an interrupt, and her ability is triggered by, where is she? Interrupts responses. So this will be during the villain phase. So here's a way to ready her again in the villain phase. So you could defend, play that, stand back up. Very cool, very cool. Okay, here's one I haven't seen. I think I'd seen all of these in the preview article, but now this is something new. Web binding, 2-cost event. You do have to pay for it. One of those has to be a mental. Hero interrupt. When an enemy would activate, cancel that activation. If a minion's activation was canceled this way, deal 4 damage to it. So 2 for 4 damage. And this is another thing. I mean, I keep saying it, but this is another thing that will ready her. It's a good thing. I mean, she can only do it once per phase, but you're always going to have something probably that's going to stand her back up. So you're always going to make use of that 3 defense. Very strong. It's going to make you just feel really safe. We have 2 copies of Web Bracelet. This is like her web shooters, I think. As a hero response, after you resolve an interrupt or response ability on an event, exhaust Web Bracelet to draw a card. So you're going to ready her and draw cards. Really starting to feel like Adam Warlock a little bit, which is very cool because I love Adam Warlock. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, I can see why people are more excited about her. You know, everything with Miles is just like so much damage, and you're stunned, and you're confused, and Miles has tough. And which I quite enjoy that. I think you feel really powerful when you get to do those things. But here it's like you're doing a thing, you're readying, you're drawing a card, you're doing another thing, you're readying again, you're drawing more cards. That's going to be really, really fun. Very flippy, she feels sort of very agile, very light on her feet, just like you're just swinging all over the place. So excited. I think I've used that word about 800 times this video. Apologies. All right, we're getting into the protection cards. Protection is one of my favorite aspects, so I'm very, very excited to see these. I'm very excited to see another 2-cost protection ally, though we have seen this one in the preview article. 2-cost ally, 1 thwart, 1 attack, Silk, Cindy Moon with an amazing picture. 2 health, Web Warrior. Response, after you play Silk from your hand, if you control another Web Warrior card, search the encounter deck for a Treachery and discard it. Yes, this card is amazing. You get rid of shadows, you get rid of just whatever the worst Treachery is still in the deck. You know, Under Fire, you know, Exhaustion, just anything that's incredibly annoying. Mind Ray, just so many come to mind. Avatar of Death. You have been accused, you stand accused. Oh my gosh, yeah, she... Just the worse the villain is, the more powerful she becomes. Which is just awesome. Now you have to play her from your hand, so there's no shenanigans as far as, you know, just sneaking her into play with various abilities, but just even if you only get to do that once, that is going to help you. We get an ally version of Miles here, a 4-cost protection, 1 thwart, 2 attack with 3 health. Web Warrior, after you play Spider-Man from your hand, stun and confuse an enemy if you control at least 3 Web Warrior cards. Well, he'll be 1, your hero will be 2. So as long as you have 1 other Web Warrior card in play, and we're just being given a myriad of Web Warrior allies that you're going to want to play here, So you get to stun and confuse an enemy, which that's for 4 is expensive, but you get a lot out of it. And it's a way to confuse in protection, which I think that's the first thing we've seen. So it is going to be limited to the web warriors, but protection would love some confuse, please. It'd be nice to flip down once in a while. And protection has a really hard time doing that, so that just opens the door. Well, again, but it's just web warriors. I was going to say it opens the door for some heroes to play better in protection, but only the web warrior types. I mean, I suppose you could potentially try to play in a non-web warrior and just play a whole bunch of the allies, and maybe that'll work, but you're going to be better off with a web warrior hero, of course. Here we get Billy Braddock Spider UK. I do not know this character at all. 1 thwart, 2 attack with 2 consequential and 5 hit points for a 3-cost ally. When Spider UK defends against an attack, deal damage to the attacking enemy equal to the number of web warriors cards you control, and there's no limit. So again, assuming your hero and him, that's at least 2. Silk only costs 2, so you're probably going to want to have her out. That's 3. So every time he defends, you deal damage. I don't like to use the term power creep because I don't think that's a real major problem, but these cards feel incredibly strong. Oh, okay, here's something we've seen. We get 3 more copies of Bait and Switch. The villain attacks you, remove 4 threat from the main scheme. I don't think I've ever put this card into a deck, but now I've got 3 more if I ever decide I want to put 6 copies in 2 decks. The art is absolutely gorgeous, very vibrant and colorful, and maybe it works better. Well, Gwen can defend for 3 and ready pretty easily. Yeah, maybe it's good for her. We get 3 copies of Jump Flip, a 1-cost hero interrupt defense. When you would take any amount of damage, oh, I love these kind of cards. I love Sidestep's one of my favorite cards in the whole game. When you take any amount of damage, prevent 2 of that damage. If you pay for this card using a lightning resource, remove 2 threat from the main scheme. Oh, threat removal and protection, yes please. Take any amount of damage, you get to prevent 2 of it, and if you paid for it with lightning, removing 2 threat from the main scheme. That's, yeah, I'm going to be using this card a lot. I love using all the protection events. You know, they really vie for space in your deck. There's so many good ones with the sidesteps, preemptive strikes, the desperate defenses. Now we've got these. I mean, there's only so much room, and they're all so good. That is so cool. We get 3 copies of Return the Favor. I don't believe I've seen this card. 0-cost event. Attack. Oh, I like the sound of all this. Your action attack. Discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until you discard a treachery. Yee. Reveal that treachery. Deal 5 damage to the villain. What is 5 damage for 0? But the potential for disaster is high because, I mean, the treachery, it could be anything. It could be maybe you give Thanos a tough status, no big deal, or it could be Shadows of the Past, or it could be Under Fire. That is a really fun, scary card. Now, if you're playing, wait, what was it? No, that's the one that attacks you. There's one, is it Get Behind Me? There's one that cancels a treachery. I'm not sure if that works with this. It might, but I suppose there's ways to sort of play around this. If you're playing this card, you're going to be hopefully taking it into account, but that one's kind of scary. I like the scary cards, though. That's cool. Oh, I remember this card because I remember it works for my boy Drax. What Doesn't Kill Me? 2-cost event has a requirement of a punch. While hero action, heal 2 damage from your hero and ready your hero. I mean, this should have Drax in the artwork. It's gonna be so good for him. Just to get a little bit of a heal and yet another ready. I'm so excited. I don't even want to play these guys. I just want to build a Drax deck right now with Jump Flips and What Doesn't Kill Me. I'm incredibly excited for these and him. All right, now we're on to our basic cards here. We get another Spider-Man, Hobie Brown, 2 thwart with 2 consequential, 1 attack, so his stats are pretty good. Play only for control web warrior. Interrupt, all right, what does he do? When Spider-Man leaves play, discard the top 3 cards of the encounter deck, deal damage to the villain equal to the number of boost icons discarded this way. Whoa, on 3 cards? That could be a ton. Now, if it's anything like Wiccan, they'll all be 0s, but the potential is incredibly high here. If you're playing like Hela or Loki and you got Laufey in the deck, Yeah, that could be really cool. Very, very cool. Okay, I remember this card being just ridiculously awesome. 2-cost event across the Spider-Verse. You can see, you see Miles and Peter are really prominent, but you can see Spider-Woman in the background. I think that's Silk and just a whole bunch of other Spider folks. So awesome. Exhaust a Web Warrior card you control. Search your discard pile for a Web Warrior ally and put it into play. Then choose a player. That player may spend 3 resources of any type to repeat this ability, and that could be you if you had a ton of money, or a solo. I mean, I think of all these cards from a solo perspective. So 2-cost event. So you can only put 1 in your deck. Exhaust a Web Warrior card you control, so you're a hero or maybe an ally. I don't think we saw, if any, there weren't very many like supports and upgrades that had the Web Warrior trait, so I don't know how many of those there would be. So probably going to be a character. You get to search your discard pile. Oh, it has to be in your discard pile. For Web Warrior ally, put it into play, and then you could spend 3 more to, basically you're giving them this card to play. 2 resources plus this would be 3. Oh my gosh. So neat. I love this spider stuff so much. We get another copy of Young Love. It's going to heal 3 damage from Gwen and Miles. We get our double monies. And now we have a few more cards here. Web of Life and Destiny, 3-cost support. Location Web Warrior. So there's a potential target, I suppose, for the Across the Spider-Verse. Ignore this card's resource cost if your identity has the Web Warrior trait. Well, there you go. So it's 0. After Web Warrior ally leaves play, choose a player. That player draws a card. What? This thing is going to be free, and you're just going to get to draw a card every time. Oh, ooh, these guys are pretty good. Pretty good. We get 3 copies of Plan B. 1-cost upgrade. Here we got the Silly Pig. Play under player's control. Max 1 per player. Exhaust Plan B and discard a random card from your hand. Deal 2 damage to an enemy. Huh. So, you get this in play. If you got 1 card left over, probably is how you're going to use it. I feel like Hulk might like this card. Yeah, I don't know how... if this is... I suppose it finds its way into aggression decks just as one more way to deal more damage. Seems cool. Seems pretty good. All right, we'll look at our obligation really quick. Worried Father. Search. Okay, this one's going to work different than your average one. Search your deck, hand, discard pile, and play area for George Stacy and set him aside. Oh, goodness. He just completely leaves play. Attach this obligation to him, and as an alter ego action, you can exhaust Gwen and remove this from the game to put him back in your hand. So, if we weren't pretty sure that he was a big part of her game already, the fact that her obligation removes him from you tells you that he's a very important part of how she plays her game. And then who would her... Okay, the lizard would be her nemesis minion, huh? Yeah, I don't know her from the comics at all, so I didn't realize she had such a connection with the lizard. 3 attack, yikes. When the villain phase begins, heal 1 down as goal he regenerates, because that's what he does. He tried to make an arm and he got a tail instead. He regenerates. Okay. Well, I said I was excited before I got into this, and I'm like 1,000% more excited now. These are amazing, amazing cards. I don't know where Gwen went, but that's okay. Yeah. I don't think I could say which one I'm more excited about. Probably Gwen. The hipster contrarian part of me that I try very, very hard to suppress wants to say Miles because everybody's saying Gwen, but come on, she does look super awesome. So that's very exciting. Now I do see some player, I'm guessing these are encounter, maybe their player cards are like for the campaign. I don't know anything about how the campaign works. I'm just gonna quickly see. Okay, yeah, these look like probably campaign upgrades. All right, I'm not gonna look too closely at those. I'm gonna save those for when I play. And then these certainly look like villainy type encounter cards, so we're gonna leave these in the package as well. We're gonna call it night there. It's getting late, folks, and I'm really tired, and if I say the word excited one more time, you're all gonna unsubscribe from my channel. So I don't have another good word for it. Very pumped, very psyched to be playing these, to be trying out these cards in different decks. I don't currently have a plan to feature these characters on my channel. I've got so many things I want to do that I was already excited about, and then along comes Spider-Verse. I definitely want to play them soon, but I don't know what's going to happen next. But I just want to thank you so much for joining me here at Stay Up in Game. And we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Take care, folks. Good night. Bye-bye.